Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world in a 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be abused. Hey everyone. I gotta say, feels really good getting back to basics, you know? After my grim, scary tales, I was kind of relieved because I had to admit this was my last grim, scary tales. So next Halloween there will be no more grim, scary tales. I was getting so tired and pooped out doing all the grim, scary tales, so I thought I should end it with the 31st of grim, scary tales, and that will be the last. And telling the history of Halloween was my last hurrah. You know, I decided you just end it with a bang. And I'll tell you, after what I've been through, I've been looking forward to this all day. And you know something else I discovered? I mean, if any of you have Facebook, and everybody knows my Facebook page, Michael A. Grimm, I did a post about me staring at Freddy Krueger and saying this, which I'm going to show you, folks. Hey, Freddy. Does everybody ever tell you look like a barrel of buttholes? Actually, I kind of like that line, barrel buttholes. Because that's exactly what I think of Freddy. Because to tell you the truth, I really don't care much about Freddy Krueger. After knowing about his origin, well, I think I'm going to start by telling you a bit of a backstory. Shall we? And it all started by a really great and young, the late great film director, none other than Wes Craven. You see, Wes Craven, he was a pretty good film director. Now, I'm not saying I hate his movies, no. I mean, there's some movies he made that are really good. Like People Under the Stairs, Wes Craven's Dracula 2000s, and Wes Craven's The Cursed. And also, I don't know if he made Voyage of the Damned or not. And of course he made those Scream series, those slasher parodies, which I could review sooner or later. Anyway, the idea that he got from Freddy Krueger, it started like this. You see, young Freddy Krueger, he was like, I guess, maybe 8 or 11 when he was little. And he lived in a suburban small town. And and late at night, he was looking out the window, and all of a sudden, he sees this raggedy hobo, also known as a homeless person. He was wearing a fedora just like Freddy, and probably the green and red sweater. I have to say, that sweater kind of makes me think of Christmas, because the color red and green. Anyway, he looked at the homeless guy, and his face was all dirt and grime all over. And as that hobo stared at Wes Craven, young Wes Craven got really scared that he ran towards his brother's room. He ran towards his brother's room, telling him that there's a homeless guy staring at him. So his brother walked towards the door and looked through the He walked towards the living room, looked into the window, but staring back at him was a homeless man. And that what got the inspiration and the idea of Freddy Krueger from Wes Craven. But I know some of you are wondering, how did Freddy Krueger become this demon and haunts people in their dreams, for those of you who haven't seen any of the movies? Well, here's his origin. Freddy Krueger's origin. You see, they call him the son of 1,000 maniacs. And the reason why he got that name, it was because a long time ago, his mother was a nun working at the insane asylum. And the head of the insane asylum, he rounded up all the lunatics from his hospital and decided to close his place down. But they didn't even know that they left Freddy Krueger's mother behind. And as they closed the door, Freddy Krueger's mother was trapped with all those maniacs. And as you look real close, you can see Robert Englund, the actor who played Freddy, playing one of the maniacs. I guess that's his father. Anyway, all the maniacs grabbed her and violated her really, really bad. And that's how she got pregnant. And after Freddy was born, she decided to put Freddy on the orphanage, and was adopted by an alcoholic, abusive father, played by Alice Cooper. That's right, that famous rock star from the 70s and 80s and 90s played the father. Wow. No more, Mr. Nice Guy. No more, Mr. Clean. No more, Mr. Nice Guy, baby. Sorry. When I think of Alice Cooper, that's one of the songs I like. Anyway, when Freddy Krueger was young, he decided to, the insanity kind of infected his mind. So he kept on killing animals. Heck, they even killed their school hamster. And all the kids made fun of him, saying, "Son of 1,000 maniacs, son of 1,000 maniacs, son of 1,000 maniacs." And then when he became 16, Freddy became immune to pain. Now he finds pain is his pleasure. So as his alcoholic father, played by Alice Cooper, walked downstairs, he grabbed his belt and started whipping him. But young Freddy Krueger went like, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" Ooh. Then as Freddy grew up, he was married and had a daughter, and he killed his wife, so his daughter was taken away from him. And now Freddy works as a janitor in an elementary school. And now it gets a lot darker here, because Freddy Krueger, he recognized the kids. They are related to his bullies, the kids who called him a son of 1,000 maniacs. So what he did, he keeps kidnapping their kids. He was a child molesting murderer. He kidnaps them, molests them, and then kills them. And that's when he created his famous knife glove, which Clive Barker got the idea for the glove is from a cat. If you look at a kitten or a cat, they always look cute with their paws, but when they stretch their paws out, you see their claws. I had a cat once, and their claws are like sharp as heck. Cat claws are murder. Anyway, Freddy created his famous knife glove, and he started killing and torturing young kids. And even though the cops tried to arrest him, not enough evidence to convict him, and his crooked lawyer defended him, And that's why the case dismissed. But the parents to the dead kids, they got really peed off. So, they found where Freddy lived and created a vigilante-style justice by setting his house on fire and burning him alive. But after Freddy was burned, he says, I will go after your kids where you can't protect them in their dreams. So after that, the town folks decided to try to wipe everything in history about Freddy, even try to deny that that's Freddy doing the killing. I mean, talk about a conspiracy here, folks. Anyway, and this what comes to this here. The first movie, Nightmare on Elm Street, where it turns out, now unlike Friday the 13th, it has Betsy Palmer as Pamela Voorhees, Jason's mother, who starts doing the killing, and Halloween, you got this British actor who plays Dr. Loomis. But in this movie, you get this actor from Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee, John Saxton. He plays a sheriff. And you get this actress, plays Nancy. Now, at first, you think this blonde-headed girl named Tina becomes the survivor, but she gets killed by Freddy. You know, there was one graphic scene that they had it deleted. Remember the scene where Freddy was torturing Tina and she was floating in the ceiling? Well, there was a scene where Freddy gave Tina the kiss of death and his claws was sticking out the bed, and as she landed on the bed, it formed a bubble and it popped everywhere. It's a good thing they cut that out because that was pretty graphic, if you ask me. So now this girl named Nancy, she starts becoming the heroine, and even though she's trying to tell everybody that it's Freddy Krueger doing the killing, her parents, her alcoholic mother, and her father, who's the sheriff, they don't believe her. Heck, even they got her in this sleeping state, and she starts having this horrible nightmare. The doctor and the mother wakes her up. She finally wakes up. She has scratch marks on her side, and she pops out a fedora out of her dream. And they still don't believe it. What the heck? And of course, the doctor is played by the same guy who does the voice of Roger Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Please. Anyway, so now, oh yeah, and here's another thing. Nancy's boyfriend is played by Johnny Depp. I'm not kidding. I mean, after 21 Jump Street, Johnny Depp decided to star in a horror movie before he became friends with Tim Burton. And he plays Nancy's boyfriend, who's a jock. But sadly, Freddy's claws came out of the bed and grabbed him and pushed him down into the bed, and then blood spew out of the bed. Pretty graphic, huh? Real nasty, too. So now it's up to Nancy to put up booby traps in her house. So when she grabs Freddy and put him in the reality world, she can finally kill him once and for all. And that was the end of Freddy Krueger. And then they decided to make a sequel called Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddys Revenge. And of course you see Robert Englund playing the bus driver. Now you get this boy, he starts living in Nancy's old house, and he finds her journal, him and his girlfriend. And then all of a sudden, Freddy starts corrupting him and starts taking over his body. And he starts killing his friends and even his coach, who is secretly gay. There's a little bit of gayness going on in this movie, even though they're not saying it, but it's obvious. But of course, at the end, the girlfriend became the only person who's trying to get Freddy out of her boyfriend's body. And then left a cliffhanger on that one. And then they decided to make the third movie, which was a little bit better than the sequel. I just don't care much for horror movie sequels, because sequels are not that good. And here it is, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. You know, that reminds me of that song they played. I love that song they played. It goes like this. We're the Dream Warriors. Down, now, now. Don't wanna dream no more. We're the Dream Warriors. And maybe tonight you'll be gone. Dream Warriors. I'm sorry, but that was an awesome song. In the song, Nancy returned, and she gets involved in this small hospital full of unstable kids. And now Nancy is no longer the heroine in this third movie, but a new girl played by the lovely Patricia Arquette. And you know, I've been hearing commentary and behind the scenes about the third movie. The cast and crew, they all have a huge crush on Patricia Arquette. And you want to know something? I don't blame them. Ever since I seen Patricia Arquette in other movies, I was like, dang. She is so cute. But that was then. Anyway, it turns out that Patricia Arquette, she's playing this girl named Christine. She has this ability of taking people into her dream world. So now Nancy is letting her find her ability and let all the other teenagers find their gifts and abilities with their dreams. And believe it or not, let's see here. Lawrence Fishburne, the guy from Pee-wee's Playhouse who plays Cowboy Cody and now is in The Matrix. He made his first appearance in this movie, playing one of the orderlies. Even though he acted kind of like an a-hole, but... Yeah. And this head doctor who likes Nancy, he decided to contact Nancy's father, who's no longer the chief of police, and they're trying to find Freddy's burial and trying to give Freddy's bones a proper burial. And it has a little bit of Ray Harryhausen, Jason and the Argonaut thing, where the skeleton of Freddy comes to life and started killing the doctor and Nancy's father. Sadly, Nancy died at the end of the third movie, but Christy, played by Patricia Arquette, she survived. And now, after the third movie, they decided to make a fourth Nightmare on Elm Street called... Oh, wait a minute. I should show you the box. What am I doing? Ha! There we go. And here is a fourth movie. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. The Dream Master. And it turns out that Freddy had finally returned again. And he's kept killing the last survivors from the third movie. Could anybody ever survive in Freddy Krueger's movies? Guess not. Anyway, there is this new girl named Alice. And Christy, who was once played by Patricia Arquette, is now played by Monday Night, former actress and singer, who now is giving Alice a new gift, that any of her friends who have died, she can absorb their powers and abilities. So Alice's brother, he gets killed by Freddy, and her brother, he was into karate. He's a karate master and all. So now, his karate ability got into Alice. along with her best friend who always lift weights, so now she's very strong. And she becomes the only one who decided to kill Freddy and try to stop him once and for all. No matter what. It was good, but not all that spectacular on the fourth one. And then they decided to make another sequel. And it is none other than... Now, in the movie, they gave it the title, but no number. But I have the number. Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Child. Now Alice has a group of new friends. And she is pregnant. She is pregnant, and she has a child. And now Freddy is using the child to have some of his powers into the child. And everybody that he kills, he can take their souls and put them in them. Heck, there was one scene I really did like. Alice has a friend who is into comic books, and he draws his own superhero. And after seeing the death of his girlfriend, he turned into the superhero he created, and he kept firing his gun at him. But Freddy rose up and turned into a superhero-like character called Faster Than a Buzzard Maniac, More Powerful Than a Local Madman. It's Super Freddy! But I hated how he killed him. He turned him into a human piece of paper, and ink was spewing out of him, and then he starts cutting him up like a piece of paper. I mean, I like comic books. Comic book is my passion, but that's not the way I want to go. Anyway, now Alice's child, he starts getting more into Freddy's ability and doesn't want to kill his mother. So he finally defeated Freddy, and the ghost of his mother showed up and grabbed Freddy. But that's not the end of Freddy. This time they decided to stop numbering their latest movie and just give it another title. This one was getting a little bit silly, but it was good. And it is Freddys Dead, The Final Nightmare. And Johnny Depp was in it. He plays the spokesperson doing that frying pan and egg, you know, the old commercial. This is your brain. This pan is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions? Until Freddy hit him in the face with a frying pan and said, "Yeah, what do you want? Looks like a frying pan to me." And of course, believe it or not, Tom Arnold and Roseanne makes an appearance in this movie. And that's where Alice Cooper showed up, playing Freddy's adopted stepfather. And of course, there is this girl who turns out to be Freddy's daughter. And she becomes the only one who can kill Freddy. But here's the thing about this movie. Some of the scenes in the movie are in 3D. Although I had to say the 3D effects were pretty crappy. So, I'd rather watch the movie without 3D. Anyway, the daughter becomes the only one who can kill Freddy. And they say that it was the end of Freddy. But you just can't keep a good boogeyman down. And then they decided to take another direction in another Freddy movie. And they made this. Freddy Krueger, New Nightmare. This one, the actress who plays Nancy returned, and so did John Saxon. And also Robert Englund. He's playing both parts. He's playing both Freddy and Robert Englund, who's being tempted by the spirit of Freddy himself. And Wes Craven is saying that Freddy is actually a demon, and the only way to keep him into the movie world is they make another sequel. And Nancy has a son, and I mean the actress who plays Nancy, Heather, I can't pronounce her last name, sorry. Her son is getting into Freddy. Freddy is tempting him. So now she's trying to save her son and try to stop Freddy once and for all. Gosh, I've been saying that a lot. And then after the New Nightmare, one thing I have to say about Freddy Krueger in the New Nightmare, I hate his green fedora. I mean, his green hat, I mean, it was ridiculous. But I like his long coat, though. And then, here was the one I mentioned on my Friday the 13th review. Freddy versus Jason. Place your bets! All in all, to make a long story short, I love the fight. I enjoyed the fight between these two slashers, and I was rooting for Jason, not Freddy. And did you know that at the end of Freddy vs. Jason, they were planning to do another crossover? I'm not kidding. It was Freddy vs. Jason versus Pinhead from Hellraiser. It's supposed to end where now Freddy and Jason are fighting in the fiery pits of hell, and Pinhead shows up and says, "Gentlemen, what seems to be the problem?" Hold my calls, will ya? Anyway, and that's what the idea came from. They were planning to do Freddy vs. Jason versus Pinhead, but that never happened. And if you guys want me to review Hellraiser, I just saw the first movie, and one is enough. But did you know it was based from a book by Clive Barker himself? And the book was called The Hellbound Heart. I think I might review the first movie, but not the rest of the things. Oh yeah, and they also made Nightmare on Elm Street, the series. Yeah, they made a TV series with Freddy Krueger in it, which was an anthology series, but it was pretty good. And of course, some of you know that I have Friday the 13th video game on Nintendo, but no, I don't have Nightmare on Elm Street on Nintendo. Sorry, folks. But here's a shocker. And no, I haven't seen the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. I heard it was too dramatic and less funny like the rest of the movies. And the actor who played Freddy, it wasn't Robert Englund, but somebody else. And I heard Robert Englund himself didn't like the remake. But here's the thing. After they made Freddy Krueger from the remake, they had him appeared in the Mortal Kombat game. Freddy Krueger is a slasher, not a fighter. Not even a kung fu fighter at that. And now I hear in this new Mortal Kombat game, Leatherface, Jason, Predator, and the Alien are in the game. I mean, it's like they're bringing in a lot of slashers from all the horror movies in the fighting game. Ugh. And one thing I have to say about Freddy Krueger, he's a butthole, yo-de-yo, yo-de-yo. And parking handicapped places, seeing handicapped faces. He's just a simple guy with a simple life. He enjoys killing and torturing and taking their souls. Yeah, in one of the movies, he has a chest of souls where he keeps the souls of his victims. That's in the movie. So, this is a Nightmare on Elm Street for you folks. And if any of you like this review of Nightmare on Elm Street, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe. And as for me, I'm going to review a video game. And no, I'm not reviewing Polybius during my Grim Scary Tales. It drove me insane. Thank goodness that Dracula and Mr. Death helped me get my sanity back. I'm going to review a video game, and it was from Disney. And it involves a mansion. A haunted mansion. So stay tuned, folks. Ah!